Hero.
Hello, everybody. We're gonna get right on into it today. I think got everything mostly set up. I'm not like we're doing anything crazy today. We're mostly just doing work today because I didn't do any work yesterday. But hello, Hawalian. Hello, Rhino. Hello, Flame. Hello. Thank you guys for checking in, popping in, and Rhino, thank you so much for the sub. Vocal stim time, you got it. The first one I always have to activate by hand. That's why it's 2 for 1. Oh, wait, wrong one. This one.
I'm the trash man.
The salami lid won't fit.
Ain't gonna fit.
So the salami lid won't fit. The salami lid ain't gonna fit like that. So the salami lid, and it's the salami lid.
That was so much longer than I thought it was. I hope you're all doing well. I don't know why this didn't tag like it's supposed to. Okay, cool. Put it all away from me. All right, I think there's a VOD I also have to upload. I hope everyone's having a great day. I went shopping today, but it's fucking cold, chat. It's fucking cold. I also need to message some people. Do like the cross arms and head resting on hands. Is okay going okay having a day of snuggles with my cat? Oh, that's lovely. That's so lovely. I hope you guys have a good day. I'm staying warm. I'm trying to think of this pose. Like this. This time. The last week was the 15th, right? The 15th, yeah. So we're missing the 14th. Oh, my hands are so cold. I saw a TikTok where someone had like a hand heater. It kind of looked like one of those like UV lights when girls get their nails done. And I was like, yo, that's kind of smart, but also I don't know if that would work for me because it would mean my hand has to stay in one spot underneath it. And like it would be okay for like a mouse hand, but it wouldn't be okay for the other hand. I guess on the other hand, I could just keep it in my pocket, I guess. I don't really have to. I don't have to keep it out. The 15th, which luckily I already finished fixing the 15th because I was smart and I did it ahead of time. And this one. I don't have the stream title for this. Highlights. It would be. Ooh, I don't have it. It would be a past broadcast. I forgot. I think it's this one. I think it's this one. Yes, it is. Cool. Oh my god, my hands are so cold. But I had a bagel for breakfast today. It was very nice. It was very warm. But I'm already cold again. I don't know why it is, but when I go outside, I get fucking cold, bruh. It's just cold. Just freeze them a little. Oh my god. Oh my god. Bagels are delicious. Bagels are. Do you have a favorite kind of bagel, Flame? I really like jalapeno cheddar bagels. We just had plain bagels. We had sesame bagels with plain cream cheese and then some sausage on the side. Grow more nipples. I found out that humans can have more than 2 nipples. Oh, dang. Oh no. Oh, I had a cold. Okay. Well, I wish I had some juice. When I went to the store and I didn't realize until I was leaving that I was like, damn, I wish I had some juice. Like everything bagels, and I like them with cream cheese, capers, and salmon locks. Oh, that sounds so good. I've had so much like bagel TikTok on my FYP, and it's like, I'm like, damn, I want a salmon lock fucking bagel. It looks so good. Hello, Kiwi. Hello, Kiwi. I hope you're having a good day. Give it all. I don't have a Procreate like image. Go back, private, save. Back in Chicago, I feel it. Another version of me I was in. Hello, I think I have a cold. No! I'm so sorry. I'm sorry you feel like you have a cold. Is it like a oh fuck I'm fucked cold, or is it just like a oh man I think I got a cold? Time for retirement. Yippee! I love retirement. Yesterday was the 21st? Question mark. Just have it on. It's me, you'll be fine. My body feels tired and gross. That's a fuck, I'm sick. To me, that's an fuck, I'm sick. I'm sorry, Kiwi. I went back to the end of beginning. See, this was Tuesday. Okay. The man out of the city, not the city. Man, I take the man out of the city. City at the man. Publish highlights. At the city at the man. You take the man out of the. Save changes. A feeling. Another version of me I was in. To the end, to beginning. No, I want this to be medium quality. Boom, 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 boom. We have videos to work on today, but first and foremost, we have to work on a layout thing for work. Because they're deciding to give me a last minute project and I'm about to kick their asses. It's okay, we're gonna get through it. If I would have known, I wouldn't have dicked around yesterday. That's okay. Okay. A big face to your mama. And this goes here. Drama. I gotta give some shit. Here we go. I don't have a folder open. My fingers are gonna fall off my body. My fingers are gonna fall off. I have frostbite. This is it. 19. All my fingers are gonna fall off. And I will be a nub VTuber. I'll just stream with nubbies. Handcam streams will be called Nub Time. Drama. Did I keep the same face? Fuck. I didn't mean to. I changed the face. I didn't mean to keep the same face. Thank you for the wellness check. I will redeem that in 2 seconds once I fix this. And I gotta buy some more advancedgg. Fuck. I almost forgot. I need to get more advancedgg because I'm running out. So we're gonna buy some today. What the fuck? That's a song. He's a cowboy, a sailor. Okay. All right, let me redeem that. Let me drink some water. Oh. There you go. Now it's different. I want them to be different. Every day to be different. I do like these more though. These thumbnails are nicer in my opinion. So he's a cowboy. Also, I have like a okay, listen. I'm getting advancedgg also cuz like I what was it called? I have this butterscotch flavor that they came out with. It's really good. But the problem is, right, is that I can't drink it all the time because it tastes. Oh, did I already put the flavors in here? I think I did. But advanced GG flav you like. But it just tastes like I am drinking candy, and I can't feel like I don't really like that. I don't like that it feels like I'm just drinking candy the whole time. It's too specific. Yeah, but oh, mine's so cold. A physical fighter and the one. Oh, I'm so cold. Ooh. So I need like a normal flavor. But let me look at the difference. Oh, I have to also message back someone on here. This one. Thank you for getting back to us in affiliate program. You have the sales generator unique. The page below with more information about the program if you have any questions. Do they? Okay, I'll sign up. Where's my Twitter? Oh, this one. Verify. Okay, if we were to have a a PC coupon code. Should it be Milk Club PC or Milk PC? I don't know if they have. I don't think they have like a cow VTuber. So we could take Milk PC. But I think all of our codes are Milk Club something. Let me check. Let me check our coupon book. We have a coupon book. I'm your guys' little coupon book. It's a link. Milk Club 10 and Milk GG. Oh, I should probably change the snack link. Milk Club. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna do it in all caps. Join. Would you boop? That's not what I was looking for. Applications. Verify. Wanna verify. Boop, boop, boop. Car. Boop, 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 car. And would it not be my email yet? I guess I'm affiliated with them now? Inactive. Alright, let me DM them back. Oh, I should talk to Pixels about it, actually. I probably should have done that first. Let me do that first. To be an affiliate. Finding you again. Hands are cold. What is it? Kiwi. Strawberry kiwi. Strawberry kiwi. What's the difference between focus and energy? I'm just curious. In hospital for GC. Want to look at the ingredients. Natural caffeine, lecithin. Natural caffeine, 100 milligrams. Natural caffeine, 100 milligrams. Okay. Might just do the peach one. Okay. I gotta hide my screen real quick. Yep. Was used to make amends. But deep to the ground and makes us forget all common sense. Wounds me as I try to read. Know how it will choose. Oh, and I'll push too deep and I'll fall right back to you. Copy. Oh my god, my hands are so cold. Oh, you not ready. Hands are cold. Okie dokie, that's all done. Close this guy. Oh, my hands are so cold. Okay. I think that's everything I need to do. No, I have to do the layout thing. That's right. Oops. Shrine. Download now. Oh, click the wrong one. Open cliffs. Hello, Stripes. Welcome on in. How are you doing today? Save. Okay, I think those 3. Oh gosh, oh gosh. Cold. Okay. Not right now. Close. Create. Hey, yo. Hello, Asparagus Guru. How are you doing? Our pages 1. I'm confused. Why are there 2 pages like this? Oh, I'm so cold. Okay, create that. There we go. Nope. Pretty good. Getting ready for this cold ass weekend. Oh god, it's cold as fuck right now, dude. Where's my shrine folder? Oh, there it is. And I swear I know her face. I know who you are. I don't know if I want to use it like that. Oh, Jesus, I'm so cold. Light and clear. Key A and B. Okay. Okay. I see. Okay. Thank you for checking. Come closer. Come closer. And I just can't pull myself away. I'm presuming they didn't give me any other ones. Looks like there might be stuff in here. Open. Oh, my hands are so cold. This one. All pages. Okay. Here on my skin. I don't know what this one means, but I might just use it as the base. Oh my god, my hands are so cold. She wants to hold me. Oh my god, my hands. Oh my gosh. Stop. I just can't stop. Okay. I don't know what this fucking font is. I don't think they gave me the font for this. I just can't stop. I just can't stop. Let me look. I don't have an image. Oh my god, my hands are so cold. Gotta go this one. Here. Okay. Holding set in motion for me. Hello, Trailer. Welcome on in. I'm glad you could make it today. How you doing? My hands are so cold. Nothing but a shadow, it seems. Autumn in a dream. How you doing? Welcome on in. Oh, I've tried not to freeze to death. Oh gosh. Effects, paper textures. There we go. Something in his kindness. I guess I like this one. So he hasn't had it yet, but it will soon. Oh gosh. Yeah, I've seen on the news that there's like some chances of snow here, and I'm like, oh, it'll be so cold. Nothing, it seems. Am I anything? Hi, Vex. Welcome in. How you doing? There we go. Oh, it says the font. Do you see that there's an exploding tree warning in Minnesota and the UP, which is really? What do you mean exploding trees? DS open close with DS community. Does it have like words? I don't think it does. Decisions, and that's all I know. I can be a saint. It gets so cold so fast they will explode like pop in the freezer. Oh, in these parts, but it will freeze over. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. It's fucking cold. The fact that these guys gave me no font to work with is kind of fucking insane, but it's whatever. What I am. I could be a saint. I gotta turn the opacity down on this now. Down. Oh, I'm so cold. My bones are freezing. They say at least 3 inches of ice where I'm at in Texas, but not really snow. I'm disappointed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that they're not gonna give you snow, but hey, at least you don't have to shovel it, you know? There's that upside, is you'll never have to shovel it. I don't think they said it mattered, so I'm just gonna go with the font that I like, because there was no real incurred. Okay. And then be bad. Tigger's already fled. Do we like him? Do we like that guy? Fuck. I want this guy to be over here. Yeah, but I want to play in it. True. No, the fuck we do not. Okay. Okay. No problem. Oh, gosh. I'm so fucking cold, dude. Sienna. Ugh. It's not enough. I want this to be gone. Just like you. And they have little diamonds on. Give me this guy. Oh my god. Does it start after? No, it starts at the start. So this will be here, and then this will stretch out here. It's a combo for the storm. It's like 26 and there's a little snow, but tomorrow's gonna be -7. Oh my god! It's like so fucking cold here right now. What temperature is it? Like my hands will not warm up. No, it's only 41. It's only 41. So it's like about the same as yesterday, but god damn is it cold. Like I cannot warm up for whatever reason. Would have been cute. Need to open our play test because I have an idea to add a little bit more enshrined into this. To be like you. Like you. Publisher. Alrighty. Give me this. Girl make a hot drink nicer. The reason we drink so many in the north is oh. Are you a smart cookie? Listen, I will in a minute. I'll do it in a second. I'm gonna make Pixels do it because I don't want to do it right now. Hi, Compact. Welcome in, darling. How you doing? Okay, no gradient overlay, no outer overlay. We're gonna do a color overlay though of this brown. Remove this. Then we're going to I want to erase this part. Make Pixels do it for giving me a fucking 24-hour deadline. You know, for this layout thing, I was like joking and I was like, haha, you gave me another 24-hour deadline. Haha, don't do that again. But it's okay because it's not actually 24 hours, teehee. And now it is. And now it is. And now it is. And I'm about to fight somebody. Okay, there we go. And then they have that like. I hate the justification on this. I'm gonna be honest, but I understand it. I need you to tell me, baby, where the hell is my husband? I'm so long to find me. You should kill him for that, for real. No! Who's gonna feed me good food? I need someone to feed me good food at the very least. Does this not have all the icons? Does this not have all the icons? I'm about to get pissed the fuck off, though. Tell you what, chat. I'm so cold. Okay, it is this one. So are these different? They provided me not the thing I need. Oh, fuck. Potency, cue ball, agility. What is these? What are these? You fucking ass. Fuck, what? Oh. Because I had the impression that this guy worked on this stuff. But I'm starting to get the inkling that that is not the case, my love. To tell me, baby, where the hell is my husband? And it's so long. Yahoo! 65! Look at you! Good job! Glyph on you fucking. Ooh, I'm about to fight somebody. Oh my god, I'm so fucking cold. Look at me, with my big shiny diamond, 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 diamond. Oh, is my husband. So this is already a font thing, but I don't see the book iconography that I need. WB. Okay, I'm going outside. Nothing but G. What? Good luck. Oh my god. You're making me cold. Bring an extra jacket, please. Oh, gosh. Tracker, director, resources, and encounter sheet, negotiate montage sheet. Here, no, one big download. What you wanna lose, but now you're gone. The one is next to nothing. Oh, okay. Well, as long as it's not windy. It's like fucking windy here. It's fucking making me more cold. I need to leave hurts my heart and how to breathe with you. Just a heads up, I don't have all the icons. So thought our guy was staple guy, but the gist. My god, my hands are cold. You didn't make that call and now I live with your regrets because it's all your fault. Oh no, DS open glyphs. DS open glyphs. Open glyphs by Draw Steel. What's the difference? Are these the same? We went with 7.5. Still 10 minutes in design affinity. Pre-built age videos. I had to pay for it. Never mind. Wait, what does it even have? Can I preview it? Table list, vector shape, I guess. Pain. DS community glyphs by Jonas something. DS. Okay, DS community glyphs by can I look at this image in full res or no? I think so. By Jonas something. By jams of the time I see. Elaine, fun fact, did you know there's official pangolin race in D&D? I did not! What are they called? I'd love to know more. By Matt, Draw Sales Comp by MCDM. I think I have these. Method of drawing. Jam branding. Method of home branding. Draw Steel's Google document. I do want to look at this. They don't matter. You should just have them out. They're called goylins. Goylins. Oh, I'm so cold. I spelled it wrong. Oh, wait, is this what it is? Oh, they're so cute. I like how vibrant they are. They're very cute. Very cute. Sorry, I'm just very fucking cold right now. Reference free are medieval licenses, human made. Owned by MCM. Yeah, I have that. Yeah. Well, now I know this. Janus. Draw steel. I can't decipher what this says. By Jonas. The games. Do we have that in our document? No. Okay, very cool. Fuck me, dude. Fonts and icons. DS Open Glyphs by Mr. Matt Dollar. DS Community Glyphs by Jonas Tink or something. I can't read that. It's annoying the crap out of me. Designed for James Time Escape. More information. Viewed. Play what is that? Mock. Oh, good. I found the PDF. Hehehe, I found it. Fuck yes. Please have the icons I need, please. Pretty please. Oh, I can't type. Please. Okay, maybe if I look up their name. Maybe if I just look up the name. I need a completely different tab for this, or else this is all gonna get fucked. Okay. Tabs, new group. We're gonna make it pink. Because something's gotta give me a little bit of happiness. Jonas, this guy. There'll be no shame. Fuck, draw steel. Intro, draw steel's release, finishing. We need the information about Jonas. One-page cheat sheet. Oh, fuck off. I don't want to go into a Discord about this. Oh, I'm gonna fucking... Icons. It does say icons, correct? What did it say? DS community glyphs. Yeah, I'm presuming that these glyphs are what they're talking about. Images. Start over. Here in vain, to the night be ocean. RPG. Over short RPGs and things. Coffee anyway. Oh, okay. I don't know where they made this, so I'm just gonna have to make it myself. Okay. Fuck, I didn't. Okay, fine. Okay. Light is okie dokie. Yeah, okay. Right. Cool. Cool. Maybe I don't. What's up? We don't have these guys.
Okay.
Those aren't in here.
Okay. Is the scroll the only one, or are there more things?
Well, we don't have this if we need
I
this.
think that's just something that this publisher did.
But like could just remake it, I guess.
Is that something you could do? Is remaking?
Yeah, like I don't I try to look up this guy that made it.
Mhm.
I don't.
So-
I think it was a custom thing that they hired him to do.
Yeah.
Because he was like a previous winner of the fucking this.
Okay. Yeah, because like that packet was made by another like company that's making a product, so it makes sense that they probably just hired someone to make it. Yeah, because it seems like the
Yeah, and then here's the scroll one. So as long as it looks like as long as we credit them, see this icon is just this one.
okay, so
At least this gives me an idea for our book.
that's fair.
You guys are in such unsurmountable fucking Minecraft debt, though. Let me tell you what.
So I think these are just flourishes that this specific publisher is using, so we don't have to copy those. Because it's a tight turnaround, let's just use the. We can make our own variation of this, so we're not just plagiarizing the.
Is there not one that Draw still has? Hi, Mew. Hello, my love. Because I was looking at other people that did this stuff.
That he sent me, which I think was from the original book, didn't have a background on it. It was just like a little scroll on the page.
Interesting. Okay.
So the background is that publisher's flourish.
Okay. Then I think I'll just do the page and match it with the color. Okay. Go make them to love you. But like, this is what other people do. They just make an itch.io page and then you download the PDF. And where's our art? Where's the art? What art are we doing?
It's the anchored player race art. So you already did the page layout for that for the D&D version.
I got it.
Oh, you got it. Yeah, it's the playtest one. Do you need?
I need apple cider. My hands are cold, and Vex told me to hold something warm.
Okay, I will get you a warm cup of apple.
Who made the art for the anchored? First and last name.
Francesco Sabatucci.
Oh, Saba made it? Okay. That's mad because Saba made it.
Yeah. No, so the playtest material anchored player race that you made is we're just essentially all the info needs to be on one page because of the contest rules, but we can have a cover page that has like all the art and stuff on it that you already made and laid out. And then the artist credits and stuff are in the playtest book because that's where we put all the credits for the playtest stuff. If that helps. Okay, so is there anything else that you need help with, or like that you need a hand with to expedite this?
Never do this again.
Fair. This is definitely a last minute thing. I'm sorry that it's the first.
Did you know that most people you do a rush fee for this stuff? Okay. Fucking. That's why so-and-so's happening. But it's not fucking happened yet. Yeah. What kind of smoothie did you get, Vex? Also, Vex said I should murder you for this. For these transgressions against me and my people. Excuse me, you're the one that's been listening to this entire timeline of things and been like, yeah, she can handle it. You don't pay me enough for this. Not enough. What font size did I use for this? 8. What's your favorite kind of tea, Taylor? Do you have a favorite kind of tea? Could you just leave me without memories? I can't help but wonder why. My heart, we don't really do the drop case thing, but I could try it. Recent. My hands are too cold, child. My hands are too cold. Ooh. Growing up, drinking black sweet, but recently I found green is pretty good. Yeah, I like green tea. I kind of miss my grandmother's teas that she would always have. They were always different, but it was a fun thing to drink every time. Oh my god. Okay. I want to make sure this is pixel perfect. So that's that. I don't like that this is the same. So what do I want to do then? Underborn. Anchored. I could do anchored or the anchored, the people. I think I need a different font for this one. It's too fancy. Ooh, I like this one. Let's do this one. Font family. Dropcast, there we go. Enable height line, auto characters. I can't change the font here, so let me just do it here. I want that. It was like a sketchy one. Where is it? I know. Sketch. Okay. And then this is going to be milkclubmedia 8. So dead. Got you by the head. There we go. Change this back. Eight. Scale for descenders. There you go. Okay. There's a multiple thing. Okay. And then this is the story. Which, does this have a different... It looks just like a lesser, so let's take... I'm just gonna take this whole thing, paste that in here. Me in the eyes, tell me that I'm still alive. Did last night was a sin. I think I find you every night. I've never been. Just keep it like that, I guess. Anchored curve. This one goes on top. Leave it behind. Remove that guy. We will make this lesser. In my bones. Living hell seem cold. Do do do. This. Oh, you hurt me. We go to reset. I'm gonna go to Bookmania. We're gonna go to 8. Out you. I was, but I can't get you off my mind. Done to I knew. Bad shape on. I'm just gonna grab the one from this one because it's same. Same. Boop, boop, boop. A devil, then I would. Hot tea is good, especially hot toddy? Tea, lemon, honey. Oh, that sounds so nice, except for the whiskey. I'm not a drinker. I have a hard time with alcohol. It has a hard time with alcohol. Dun, dun, dun. How many lines does that equal? 1, 2, 3. Like sun. 2, 3. Tab is too much. There you go. Oh, I see. I hope that whiskey wouldn't irritate your throat too much, though. Everyone is raving at the smoothie place because we're just happy to get fruit. Fair. I mean, what kind of smoothie did you get? I'm not sure if you mentioned it earlier, but what kind of smoothie did you get? Hi, Fox. Welcome on in. Let me see the margins again. I'm gonna remove this guy. This guy. She might change how I did this. It's acai pineapple and orange juice is quite good. Ooh, that sounds delicious. Might I say that sounds mighty fine. And then anchored traits. I'd rather have that be on the next one. Right? Yeah, but like smaller text, I guess. What the fuck did I say? That is acai, isn't it? Acai? 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 Is it acai? I'm fucking not the right document. Incurred. Ink. 3D traits. Ooh, barely fits. Let's go. Yes, it is. See, I got it in the end. Just took a little getting to get there, you know? Recent milkclubmedia 8. Into you. Fall into you. Back in again. Here are the following traits. Anchored heroes have the following traits. Would you confess what it's like? Does you know I'm right? Signature trait, the sewers of the undeniable dolphin. Escape from hell. Fix yourself without my help. How do we get here? We're standing. Purchase unborn traits. Burst of filth. Okay. I think this is separate. This feels separate, so I will do this separately. Anchored traits. What else? 1 point. Oh, okay. To fall into you. Wanderlust. I'm presuming they want font that's a bit bigger than this. Okay, then let's make. Wait, does it say in this one what font size they use? It says 10.5. Okay. This one. Update body. This will be body. Update note style. Okay. So this will be body. Okay. And then make it 10.5. Oh, Moira. 2. And then this one to here. And then this, nope, not that group. And then this was also given body. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, beep, beep. Max space. Wait, nope. Okay. And then I gotta make this arguably bigger than. Which means 1, 2. Reaction. This is regular italic, semi-bold italic, regular. Let's do it that way. Semi-bold italic. Semi-bold italic. That one. Semi-bold. So I've been tuning in and out, and I never asked, what are we editing today? We are currently editing a player race that is going into, it is a collaborative work between me and this writer that works a lot with that does a lot of, that likes to write a lot of draw steel things, which is another D&D system similar to like Daggerheart, the one that Critical Role made, Pathfinder, so on and so forth. And they commissioned me to work on a little bit of formatting for some stuff that they'd like to do. Oh, this is the story, and then this is the actions. And then hopefully, if we have time, which I think we will, I will be working on editing the last bit of videos I had to work on today. Yep. No, you know where you are when you know where you are when. I'm going a milkclub reaction. The 2 points, hollow bone points, this one. Finally found a mod that lets you do good guy route for Nuka World. Do you not enjoy the bad boy route of that one? Or I guess the bad guy route. Purchase anchor traits. Fuel thin. This needs to be a bit bigger, right? Because the purchase, yes. So we will make that a 12, I guess. And maybe underline it. Baby, I know what you need, baby. On me, baby. With an italicized. Rebuild grays, A average. 2 squares, 2 points. And then there was an A average thing in here. A Hey, but I got what you need, baby. I guess I understand why you use the font now. Install. I vibe so hard with a quote. It's a video game. You can do anything you want, but I want to help people. Fair. Fair. I like that one a lot, too. DS open glyphs. And then average. There's a key. Where's the key? A. And then ranged. And then Y. Y is the one we want. Right? And then that's how it looks in the PDF. Go away. Yes. Okay, cool. Is there anything else? Not really. Okay, so if we want, I would equal these guys out a little bit. Where? Let's see. Hi, Norman! Welcome on in. How are you doing today? I love, of course. We need to go home. I love your keys. Of course, I'll help you. Is that where they had it in here? Of course, I'll help you. Yes, yes, it is. I'm doing. How are you? I'm also doing. I am doing a kind of crunch work thing, but we get through it. Boop. Move this guy. There we go. And then we remove this. And then we remove. Where is this curve? This one. And then this one. So we delete. These ones we put in here. The rights. And then I would like the base and the story to just come up. Doop, doop. Doop. Just want this to ride on up a little bit. By like 1. Okay, there we go. There we go. And now this is all sitting all nice and pretty here for us. Except for this guy is not. Inside of your eyes, it's true. What? Hi. There you go. There we go. My hand is like holding the world. Then I need to go back here, and then I need to go back 2 pages, master page. Need to go back to corner border. I need the crown again. To be because tonight we've Got that magic, baby. Sparks fly crazy. In time we touch. Really strong. I like this to be here. And then I'll grab the thing that Saba made for this. And then powered by drawn steel. And the sky leave a world behind. This one. Download anyway. Hands are so cold. Enshrine 2D save. Oh, Enshrine 2D. Boop. Boop. I like those a lot. I really like the page border. This one, I think it is. The magic, baby. Sparks fly crazy. Touch. Stroke. Let's round this part. Let's make it a bit thicker. Faster than I should. Driving with my darling. Okay. This is kind of sharp at the end, actually. I feel like it should be. I see your face again. If we did this one, this one. My darling, but if we could. What happens if I do this? Nope. I'm a fool. I wonder if having arrows. I just wanted it to be a pointed tip. What? Darling. We could. Let me see. Could I do a stroke? Windows. I don't have a brushes thing. I think I have to go over here. Brushes. Jumping on a trampoline, and I just learned that they weren't real. But can inhabit an unknowing rabbit might manufacture the way you. How do I know that the sky's really sunny? Oh, an ink one would actually be really good here. I don't know which one. This one could work. The woman who is jogging on my TV screen, just like she doesn't exist. Earth was created, her heart generated, her soul hasn't lived, and her lips have not been kissed. How do I know that the sky's really sunny? Okay. Looks with the wave of your hand and a fuck ton of money. There you go. This one and this one. I want these to stretch out. Melting away. Clouds are crying. They covered their tears in a bright sunny day. We're lying. Get out and drive. Get out the rain used to dance with the sky. I forgot. It used to be brown. And your heart's made of steel. Jumping on a trampoline. Just learned that they weren't real. Let's make sure everything is brown. Okay. Yeah. And then. Cancel. Wait. I need this. I didn't need these guys. Boop, 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 boop. This will go here. Here. And the end of it there. Yes, it is. And then I can bring this up a little bit. Do, 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 do. This. And then, what's the next one? Answer R, and then the very bottom. This document is an independent product published under the Draw Still Creator license. Okay. Well, then I would do this in Bookmania to match. Playtest. I think I have it in here. Any other credits? Yes. Illustrators. Francesco Salvatucci. There's no fuck in my version truck. Oh wait. I want it to be this color. That's right. Oop. Want to try? Why are you different? make it. And then... Does it not say? It should. I think it should. This is the... Oh no, I'm trying. Turn it off for now. And then... I would just... Actually, I would, do it like this. And then have the bottom accent go here. Take me, I'll be on my way. Sketh Gothic School. Sketch Gothic School Font. Sketch Gothic Cool Fool. Was created by... I'm tired. I love now. I'm tired. Yep. Let me bring this actually back up a little bit. You know I'm trying. Hey Lord, you know I'm trying. That's all I've got is Then I want this guy to become... Which one did I use for this guy? Oh, this guy. Let's say it's fine. What a mama. Five. Enter. When I went to the salon, it's gonna burn. Gonna burn. In a microwave dish, it's gonna turn around. Mahatma Gandhi and Mother Teresa getting kind of freaky in a beach in Ibiza. Me with us. like you anymore. My shit in the shower, no water, no power. They split into 5 equal pieces with a big pair of scissors. I was like Mona Lisa, but curse is like a wizard. Teresa and Mahatma Gandhi. About its turn it is to do the laundry. Let her go. I go to Enshrine. Go to playtest. Go to... I think it was the bestiary that I put them in. No. Teresa and Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi and Mother Teresa. Close. Actually, cancel. Because I need the... images and stuff. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Go over the... Oh, bruh. I'm gonna go down here. This is gonna go all the way down here. I make the art piece bigger in it of itself. So that way this can come up a bit more. Down a bit more. This one save. Associate. My head give me some advice. I am wasting all this time. I don't know how long it's been. Lane has an idea. I need the enshrined logo. What am I doing? I'm navigating. Let's see. I'll scoot ahead of me. Wasting my don't know how long it's been since I responded a question. I wanna know what I'm thinking. I feel like everybody leaves. I'm navigating. My head disassociating. Navigating my head. Give me advice. Okay, that's good. This. Advice, wasting all this time. These need to be on the same level. Boop. Oh. Oh. What did I do? Top. And then... Think about the words. It was mine. I need a flip it. Want to ask about those pain. I would lie. Hearts. I mind. Really time. But it's running out. Running out. And I can't live without you. This one keeps time. Tell what you Let's bring this down just a little bit then. Let's see what this guy. Let's bring this down a little bit. And then replace this guy with this guy. And do a 25 again, and then we flip it. The world is just a figment of the woo. And then I need the anchored. Boop, boop, boop. Needs to be a little bit smaller. I need the guy. It's running out, running out. I think he has to go the other way though. The shadows are going. I don't like that. Okay, just one more. I think I like that more. And then center it. Where is our logo? That one. We not have. this one anymore. Oops. Oh, fuck. Okay. Open. Hello, that makes sense. I found her. And then I run for many miles, trying to find love from one that could love me and never leave my side. Trying to find light from the things I'm afraid of inside. Let's see, what is the size? This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I believe. Hold me close, dead inside, dead inside. With you all my life. Nobody left me lonely. Bruh. Me at the back and be locked, please. Till I found her. This guy go on this text. Like you. Oh, that makes sense. Anchored. I found her. I found her. Ooh, fuck. If I gave this whole thing. There we go. Soon I will take to the night. Oh, that's gonna bug me, because these should be straight now. I'm gonna do a set. That means on this one they're not correct. Oop. Come with me, I'll make you high. Save. Let me make this just a little bit thicker. 8. There we go. Just make sure these are at the same height. The anchor and answers to for draw steel. Do they all say that? I don't know. It's an ancestry? Save. Open pre-flight. Oh, that's fine. Those are whatever. Export. Draw steel. Enshrined. The Anchored. Oh my god, my hands. Same note as it. I think that looks okay. I didn't mean to close that like that. Fuck. Fuck! Oh, okay, we're okay. I think maybe this changed. 8? No, we're good. We're good. Woohoo! Okay, finished that. And then we can go over here. Pathetic. All right, time for video editing. Shall we, chat? Shall we get into the video editing while I freeze my little fingies off? I was like, I'm gonna crochet during D&D. I am so not crocheting during D&D. My fingers are too rigid, too cold. Oh, wow, Tony is spawned in the chat. It generally wants to prepare a song for B-Day Funk song for someone in a month, but it can only think of Jesus in a banana form who is busy marrying a tree. What? 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 What did you say? What does that even mean, my guy? Someone get this girl hot chocolate to hold. Meow. I had some hot apple cider. But actually, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind a hot chocolate. I have 2 hours. B-Day Funk song? Yeah, but what is that about? Jesus in banana form? Jesus in banana form? Great. And then I also have to do stuff. I forgot. Elaine forgot things. Teehee. Fuck, I gotta, it's this folder. And I gotta log in. Google. Yeah, but no, not that part. You're skimming over the part that I need you to talk about, my guy. It's the banana Jesus. Close. Why do wear glasses or no? I do! They're not as pretty as these. But I do. Question. I have further creature controller but lag. No. Controllers can get dirty easily. Also be sure there is no major eleg. Next. Small dirt. Small dust. Frick that bitch. So we can Using a wireless. Fucky. Get. I easily. Is there like a nodding emote? Okay. Cause they like hurt my temple when I wear over the head earphones, but are fine when the headphones are off. Do I take them off while wearing headphones? Do I just take multiple breaks for music production? Yeah, I got. So, is it that you can't read up close or is it far away? Far away? You don't have to wear them when you're on your computer then. I wear glasses, but I can't, so I can't read a McDonald's fucking menu sign. I'm fucking blind. So I have to wear them when I go outside. Sometimes I don't if I'm just being a goober and I just forget, but you don't have to wear them when you're at the computer. Steak. I don't know, because like they told me to wear them as often as I can. I'm trying to think what would be the best, because I would say it's best to like get earbuds then, probably, or take breaks. You'll probably get used to them after a while, but I would definitely say get earbuds if you can, or just take breaks. I'm farsighted in one eye and nearsighted. Whoa! Does that mean you have two different prescriptions? Like each lens is a different prescription? That's how it is though, ain't it? How it be. Alright, dude, this guy and this guy. And this guy, let's go up here. Okay. Yep, it's a 9. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You want one of my eyeballs? I'll give you one of my far-sighted eyeballs, if that would help. It's in the Discord. I see a ping in the Discord. An eternity. I think it's just me. Yeah, it's just this. Did I not have voice meter open? Ban is on. Well, because my right eye is like maybe 80 and my left is 40. I have earbuds. They're only for phone because you have to be fucking insane to use Raycon for music production. Oh, shit. That's fair. That's fair. Especially when it comes to music production. Okay, here's the thing though, bro. Right? I guess you'd probably be doing music production most of the day is what I'm presuming. So that means I would say the best bet is to take breaks when it starts hurting. Or wear your glasses when you start your workday, and then in like the evenings kind of take them off, because then your eyes can kind of rest a bit because I feel like sometimes when I wear glasses and I go outside, like my brain is processing more because I'm seeing more, and that like just overdrives my brain. And if I take them off, my brain goes in baby mode. So it's like it kind of chillaxes a little bit. It's kind of fun. I'll take my glasses off and I'll go back and forth, closing them and seeing close and then far away. That's fair, as long as you have fun with it. Also, why the fuck can't I hear noises? It feels like an eternity since I had you here with me, since I had to learn to be someone you don't know. To be with you in paradise, what I wouldn't sacrifice. If I had contact lenses, yeah. I don't fuck with those. Those scare me. To be honest. Over the world, playing full screen on the side of your screen or in. Okay, I don't know if that's just this. I'm gonna restart DaVinci again. Walk this world alone. Also need to update my thing, but I'll do that in a minute. That makes me wonder, would you have throw them away every day, or would you just reuse them? You throw them away every day. Transparent sticker mode. You can also use throw those bitches away. You don't normally reuse contact lenses unless they're glass. Virtual co-working is a digital third space. Space designed to help you focus and stay connected. Work or study with your friends and strangers from all over the world. Play in full screen on the side of your screen or in transparent sticker mode. You can also use productivity tools including a customizable Pomodoro timer and to-do list to stay on track. Meet up in My right eye is like 1 a.m. My left is 75. I don't know what mine are. Meet up in a variety of locations, including a library, treehouse, and floating lily pad. And floating lily pads. Find the focus animation for your character that matches your real life tasks, like reading, doing chores, or painting. Sleeping. You can even make your avatar your own, choosing from a huge variety of human and animal customization options. Oh, there's a breath here. There's a breath here, brothers. Brothers and sisters. There's a thing here. Oops. If you work from home and are ready to hang out, lock in, and repeat, then you should grab a copy of On Together today. And this one, this one, this one, this one. There we go, and this lookbook can stay there, and then all we gotta do is add the. I thought I did a transition for Roll for Fun. Did I not? One of my former friends told me that he puts contact lenses in a bowl of water and overnight and then uses them again the next day. I don't know what lenses to get though. That's possible. I guess some are like a few day use, but they aren't like forever reusable and stuff. What's going on here today? We're just let's kind of go into it, don't we? Yeah. We're just editing some videos. We were doing a little we were working on a little PDF for a draw steel competition, which is another like Pathfinder 5th edition dagger heart sort of thing. Okay, that's fine. On Together Virtual Co-working is a digital third space designed to help you focus and stay connected. Work or study with your... Okay, and then... this here, video editing, and I should upload videos today. I could do that really quick. Or now. I'll do it after. I'll do it after. No. Roll for fun on together. This one and then this one. And bring it up. On Together Virtual Co-working is a digital third space designed to help you focus and stay connected. Work or study with your friends and strangers from all... Let's see. Let's see. Where do I want to put this? Oh, I like that one. This is nice. On Together Virtual Co-working is a digital third space designed to help you focus and stay connected. Let's start it here. And so add track. Move this over here, move that over there. On Together Virtual Co-working is a digital third space designed to help you focus and stay connected. Work or most instances. And then this guy, that we can zoom him out a good bit. And then put him up here and zoom him in a bit more so we can see a bit more of what's going on. I think bottom right is best. Work or study with your friends and strangers from all over the world. Play in full screen on the side of your screen or in transparent sticker mode. You can also use productivity tools, including a customizable Pomodoro timer and to-do list to stay on track. Meet up at a variety of locations, including a library, treehouse, and floating lily pads. Find the focus animation for your character that matches your real... treehouse and floating lily pads. Wet and hungry. Find the focus animation for your character that matches your real life tasks like reading, doing chores, or painting. You can even make your avatar your own, choosing from a huge variety of human and animal customization options. If you work from home and are ready to hang out, lock in, and repeat, then you should grab a copy of On Together today. Understandable. I hope you can get some good recipe. You deserve it. You get some hot cocoa? I'm thinking about hot cocoa. On Together Virtual Co-working is a digital third space. Be honest, I'm thinking a lot. On Together Virtual Co-working is a digital third space. A lot. So I'm just popping in to say hi before I get food. I hope you have good food, and thank you for stopping by. It means a lot to me. Mwah. Have a wonderful time. Have a wonderful time. Have good food. We love you. Let's delete track, and then we're gonna go get a cozy song. This one. We're gonna do cozy. That means a lot, Jeffy. Thank you. Also, I realize you can hear the noises. Okay, I get food. Have good food! Tell me what kind of food when you get back, if you're back while I'm still streaming. I feel like I went wrong. Alright, bratwurst. Oh, yum. Okay, have the most amazing bratwurst. I hope it's yum yum delish. Oh my goodness, have the most delicious bratwurst. Most delicious. Like 3 of those done in one day, and then I can try to do 3, 4, 5, 3. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, let's do here snap captions. Okay. And Father provides all rest of it to never die. Let it all consume, and he won't never bloom. Oh, where you belong, don't worry now, I won't shoot you wrong. Hey, with me you will need to hide. No, come on now and let the rot inside. Let the rot inside. Distract. Sacred offering. It's not the end all. Only no harm. The end will be losing charm. Love will set you free. Rotten me for eternity, child. Grandfather, provide the rest of it. Never die. Let it all consume. What is the update for this? Snap captions to update. No need to ask. Oh, come on now and let the rot inside. Oh, rot inside. The word of inky. Grandfather provide the best of it will never die. Consume for eternity will never bloom. Belong. Don't worry now, I won't say you wrong. Subtitle 1. Ready default. Create. And then make sure doing chores or painting. And inside. Tasks like reading, doing chores, or painting. Yeah. And then this one. When you leave again, it feels like something's missing. Oh, wait. Let me redo that. Don't much sunshine. Up all night, no on street lights. Everything's the same except the last bit. Delete track. Last time. Okay, that's fine. Works for me. In the water in Berlin. No matter who you are or where you've been. This one. Render. Oh, my soul. And I hate to Berlin. Get him up and gets under your skin. Feels like something's missing. No wonder who you are, where you been. Alright, let me make sure that video looks good. The wrong one. Cool. Perfecto. Great. I don't want to listen to this song right now. I do want to listen to Strut though. Dude, I've been kind of like thinking about this song a lot. It's a really good song. I don't know, I kind of like it. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a weed head, but I just like the song. Dried what did I say? Sponge. Sure. Oh my god, you know when you take a nap and you wake up with imprints of sheet wrinkles and drink a whole glass of ooh, you had a nice ass nap. Look at you. Look at you. How did you enjoy it? I like naps like that, but I know not everybody likes naps like that. But me, I fucking love a good nap like that, man. That shit slap. In my opinion, that shit is slap. Soaking in that unemployed life while I'm a break? Fuck yeah, bro. For all of us that are currently somewhat employed, please soak that shit in. I wish I was unemployed, but also I wish I was unemployed but still paid, you know? Kind of. I just kind of want to be a streamer for the rest of my life, if I'm honest. I just want to play games, hang out, make art. That's all I want to do. Stream, play games, make art, hang out with you guys, because you guys are literally my best friends. Delete track. Unemployed. Employed and unemployed can both kind of suck. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Need money, don't have money, want money, but can't have money. I'm back. I made chili dogs. Oh, chili dogs. Are you gonna share? Can I have one? Yeah. Yeah, Orwell just woke up from a nap. Elephant shrew. Elephant shrew. It's an elephant shrew. The little elephant shrew. He's kind of not in the center of the screen. People gotta come over for the food? Okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Looking like a drying sponge. This one's next. Being cute, and I gotta make sure like it's the end of this video. Yeah, I think that's good. Oop. Actually, I wonder, because of the camera movement that happens in the end, I'm actually wondering if it's okay if I just do it this way. Yeah, that's some good shit right there. Perfect. And then oh, I didn't. Oh. Need a few whoopsies, but it's okay. And then clip operations, replace with Vibe and Shine. This one. Clip operations, replace this one. Except I've got to uncrop the top now. Boop. I'm tired in the hate here. Vex was saying that earlier, actually. Vex was talking about how they have exploding trees over there already. I'm doing pretty good over here. In Oregon. Pretty good. Clip operations replace. What's going on, but it's gonna get better. I don't know what's going on, but it's gonna get better. Stagger 'em. Dun, 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 dun. This one. The kitchen sink. I don't wanna feel anything. Get a drink, throw up in the kitchen sink. I don't wanna feel. This one, default, this one. I didn't check if there were no two-worded things. God damn it. I'm living for the moment. I'm living for the minute. Be sure to take care of yourself. That means getting enough. Be sure to take care of that means getting enough water. Just like this little elephant shrew. Just like this little who makes. Delete track. Water. Make sure, there you go. Doop. Sure to take care of yourself. That means getting enough water. Just like this little elephant shrew who makes excellent striped sponge and their excellent diet. Okay. Yeah, watching my bed, in my head. In my mind, in my mind. Okay. 7 days. Let's see. Render all. Yeah. Alrighty, now I'm just gonna watch the video. Cool. Dun, 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 in my mind. Bloop, bloop, a bloop, add video, this one. My hands are cold. I need this again. I didn't put a thing for that. Yuck. We'll do that in a second then. All the things in my room is you all the time. I saw myself on the internet just to see what you'll find. Want your things in my room, I miss you all the time. 56. Leaving everything behind. And then edit my network, schedule 3. Hello, Erdom. Welcome on in. How are you doing? Where will carry me? Watching these words now. I'm looking for much, man. Maybe you'd call me. And you'd want me. Yeah, I want your things in my room. I miss you all the time. Feel myself on the internet. Not very good, but managing, not gonna lie. Do you want a hug? Do you want hug? Do you want hug? I got open arms for hug. If you want a hug, I got ya. Got ya. All the hugs. Yeah, of course. Come here. I'm hugging. Come here. There you go. I hope that you felt my hug. I tried to give you a good hug. I hope it makes you feel better. And I'm sorry that you're feeling like poo. But hopefully, you know, we find something to pass the time with so you don't feel as poop. I have 2. Wanna fly high. It was so cool. I wanna die high. It's too soon to say what's on your mind. I don't know how long I have to wait for this. Good hug. Yay! I'm gonna reload. I don't know why it's taking so long. Oh, whoa, metrical. Maybe just need some sleep. Oh, I really didn't save it. Damn. Boop. Add video. Upload video. Accept. 56. 5 and shine. Off my mind. 'Cause you know There we go. And then edit by network and then schedule 3. Oh, this is taking forever. This is weird. I'm going crazy. Getting kind of hazy. If I don't give up like a lovesick crackhead. I don't know what to do. It's like taking forever to load. More stuff I want to do today. I can't do it. This is a banger, isn't it? I think I did. I had the beep-a-doop-a-doop. Even if there's other people, fuck yeah, man. It's about the vibes. It's not about who you're with. And if they don't accept the vibes, they're fucking oopid. I do not sound like Kesha. Does anybody other than Kesha sound like Kesha? Be real. Got a question. Everyone have a slumber party in my basement. Bro, this is taking forever. Bruh. It's taking so long. I'm metrical in another tab. Can I keep uploading stuff? Login. Let me login. Can I upload like my internet or something? I don't have like Wi-Fi setting right there. What? I don't know. I think it's metrical. I think the connection to metrical is like slow as fuck. Let me check. Let me go Blue Sky. Yeah, it seems like things are okay in general. I don't really want to listen to the song right now. Fly me to the moon. Let's see this one. Viral hits, what you got going on? Ooh, of course. One more tear to cry. Open my eyes. Okay, let me try to do one for Tuesday, maybe. Let's get it on the 24. Actually, let me do Wednesday. And when I'm back in Chicago, I feel it. Another version of me I wasn't in. We go back to the end of beginning. This one. Oop. And now do the something out. Oh, cancel. I just realized, oopsie poopsie, I did with that one, so we will do Tuesday first. Fuck. Trust me, you'll be fine. And I'm back in Chicago, I feel it. Another version of me I wasn't in. They come back to the end. 55! Holy shit, look at you. Holy fuck. Very nice. Good job. I'm very proud. Thank you for sticking with me every day. The men who take the man out of the city. Okay, now did it work? I did. Not the city of the man. take the man out of the... Back in Chicago, I feel it. Another version of me. I wasn't it. The end of beginning. You have to wait when you tell a pun. What? What? Pun? What? Until they're full. Yeah, you right. You right. You right. You right. My bad. Open like a new tab. Open like a new tab. Open like a new tab. This one. I can't set some from it. Did I not upload edit? That's on Prime. 69. I don't really want to listen to this one. It's meh. Not meh, but like I don't the vibes. I'll listen to this one. Sugar on my tongue, tongue, tongue. Your body is so sweet. Mama, tell your daddy. Make sure that you know what all about. Oh. Sugar on my tongue. Does he have a TikTok? I don't think so. This one, this one. This one. Schedule 5. Close. This is what I want to edit. Clip operations replace. Did you know this one with this one? Save. Browse. This one, yes. Add to render queue and then go there. And then scheduled. Change cover. Upload color for image this one. Save. And then did you know what will be next? Okay, so now what is this? 96, 97 is the highest, so we'll do it 96 at 1 p.m. And then YouTube 92, we'll do this one here at 3. Days. I just fly your memories as they come. Yes, I want to do Thursdays first. Until I fall in love again. V-stars, this one. I'll upload a video thumbnail in case they want it, accept. of the dust of monument. V stars 45. And then boop boop boop. Open like a new tab. This one here, this one, this one, this one, this one. And then edit by network. This one, edit, edit. And then I change it to this guy. Oh, it's just one. Oops. Let's copy this guy, paste this guy. Okay, then we're just gonna get that a capital S because it's not on here. Okay, that looks. And then this one. Edit. That's fine. This one. Sean has a TikTok. And the nights not so unexpected when they left over me. Me. And then the rest of them are just on me. Ah, my hands are so cold. Oh, because my blanket's on a 1 setting. I thought I put it up to like a fucking 3. Highest it can be is a 4. No broke boys, no new bands. Boys, no new bands. 87, 88. TikTok. 98. 97. This one got a little sooner on TikTok then. And Wednesday is a Did You Know video. This one, this one, this one. And then we upload a thumbnail just in case. No new things. I don't know if I did that on purpose. 34. Did you know? Actually, it didn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because I don't put the number on here. I just write the topic. I do the growing an extra nipple thing I did. Do you guys know that women, after having birth, can grow extra nipples, and humans have a nipple line? Human nipple anatomy. Wait. Growth. Anatomy. It's like a line. You know how like mammals can have like lines? We can have lines. It can happen from like the armpit down to your thigh. It's queer. It's weird and it's crazy. And I almost said crazy. I tried to mix the words. That didn't work in my brain. But yeah, it's really weird. I saw it on TikTok today, and now it's a fun fact that I know, and it's a fun fact that you now know, and it's a fun fact that we'll be talking about now on Wednesday. Did I save that video? I hope I did, or at least liked it, maybe. When did you get harder all day? Maybe my internet's just being super slow. You get called when you grow. Oh, the supernumerary nipple. The supernumerary nipple. Wait, on the supernumerary nipple. Wait. Is that what it is? Is that what it's called? I think it is. That's what it's called. I think that is what it's called. Common malnutrition because of nipple-related issues. Normally appearing on the chest of... Hold on, I'm gonna look up something because I'm just curious. Yeah, the milk line. Okay. This is important for our video for next week, so I will save this for the did you know, and then this oop. There you go. Where's my Spotify? I think I have it so this one doesn't close. When it closes, I don't think it settings. What is the thing where, like, if you close it, it just goes into... Ew. Playback. Ah, there it is. This one? Ooh. Set your intention at the highest of vibrational. What does this mean? I like this song. 95, 96. So here is fine. 96, 97. Okay. Almost every night. Oh, YouTube. Yeah, it's 100. Okay. No moonlight. I forgot to write this. This one's 63. Playlist for fun. Sounds like someone's playing like baseball outside of my apartment, which they shouldn't, because there is not enough room nowhere to be doing that. And if you fuck up, you fucking about to break a window. Let me tell you what. About to break someone's window. And with how cold it is, ain't about to be doing that, none of that. Can I look at this one now? It's Thursday. It's been a day later. I just want to see what... Okay, we're going up. So this is 68. When's that 3 seconds? Okay, I have to start cutting that a little bit closer. But that's 68. I think that's better than it was before, I think. So that's good. Yeah. Okay. I'm happy. Oh, man, so cold. Well, okay, that's pretty good. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was having a bit of a lull where, like, it just wasn't hitting 1,000. And I was like, So I decided to do a little bit of an optimization pass on my TikToks, and making me happy. It's making me happy. It's not a big change, and it's obviously not a big change in views, but it makes me happy. Especially since that video is 2 days old, and I won't confirm the analytics until 3 days after it's posted, but I would like to look at my analytics again, just to make sure that they're slowly growing. We did reach 1,200 on fucking YouTube, which I think is insane. Makes me really happy, though. I'm wiggling. I'm wiggling in my chair to try to warm myself up, but also 1,200 subs. Yeah! Yeah! Will this show us the right one? It might not. Oh, view channel. 1.2K! Hi, Lily! Yeah, I'm super proud of it. I don't know how the videos have been doing view-wise. It depends. My Vibe and Shine one got 18K views? What in the fuck, Knuckles, are you talking about, dude? What the fuck are you talking about? The Did You Know one got 3K? What the actual fuck, Knuckles, are we talking about here, dude? What? I'm so confused. How's it going? Pretty good. How are you doing today? Happy to see you. Welcome on in. He was always a crackpot on Fridays. I'm gonna put it on the wrong day. There you go. Except I want to look. Instagram's doing pretty good, it seems. Right, that's last 30 days, yeah. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. Total content's been going up, that makes sense. Views 2,000. I don't really look at my my Instagram, to be honest. 5th and 6th did good though. But I got my first ever cover live. Let's go! Yippee! Average reach per 3,000. That's pretty neat. Detailed analytics. Twitter's like, whatever. Twitter's Twitter. TikTok's still going up steadily. It's a steady growth. I like a good steady guy. Steady guy works for me. I like this. I like the wave. 6,000 on December 28th. What was that one? Okay, on December 28th. What came out on December 28th? Was it Sunday? That would have been my... This one. No. What? 28. Oh, I guess maybe this is total views, actually. That makes more sense. For your mind, watch the look, feel the time, but you see it. Wait, let me look at this one. What about that one video? What day was that posted? It was Saturday. Yeah, the 20th? No, the 18th. You're not gonna tell me about how that video did. Wait, was that not last? No, it's this one. What? Wah? Oh, that was the 17th. That's crazy. What does this mean? Okay, what if we did the last week? I'm surprised I haven't gotten any followers, but it doesn't really matter. Activity. I wonder if it's updated because it says I gained a few followers today. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 at the very least. Roles will only be available the day from the day the account got connected. That doesn't make sense. Shares reach. The math, it ain't mathin'. Let me complete all these. We'll go back and we'll do some drawing. So I wonder if there's an emote. Oh no, it's fine. I'll do it before I go to D&D. Actually, no, I'm gonna go to the bathroom really quick. I'm gonna go to the bathroom really quick and then we'll be right back. Okay, guys, don't go anywhere. I'll miss you. do a little bit of drawing, but before we do that, I have to update. I have to update my fantasy grounds. Hi, Pocky. I'm clicking all the wrong buttons. Where'd it go? UX. Pin to start. How you doing, Pocky? You have a good day? Did you sleep? Must better be sleeping. Or have been sleeping. And close all my extra apps. Thing not open? There you go. Name is songrequest. I'd like to work on this guy. I will do that later. I was on set until now filming. Oh, it's 2. Oh, geez. Well, welcome home. I hope you had a good time at work. We're more than happy to see you home. In the moonlight, high with my lover. Just wanna get high in the moonlight. Ooh, I don't like that. Well, hopefully you got some food in you as well, Pocky, and you are good to go eat. Hopefully you got your PJs on. You're already tucked into bed. I can tuck you in. You want me to tuck you in? I'll tuck you in. Yeah, I like that. There we go. Oh my goodness. I want to draw. Color. Actually, how does the fill tool work? I don't know. I'm just gonna color it. I'm gonna edit this one. How do I change the name of it? Rename. Oh. Ah. Cut. Oh, fuck. I'm gonna add something real quick, then go to sleep. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Outline. Brush. This is my sketching brush. Rename. Oops. Sketch. Rename. I don't want the. Come back. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. This is the rename. This is my pencil brush. Oops. Pencil. Okay, there you go. Then I need a coloring brush. I think I'll just duplicate this one and then rename it to cut color. And then this one is gonna have none of this. No stabilization either. Okay. Because I like coloring like I'm a 2-year-old. And I got crayons because it's fun. In a world where things must be fast, isn't it nice just to take a step back and do things just a bit more slowly? Not be the most efficient, but does everything in the world have to be efficient, you know? If everything in the world is efficient, what's the fun in that? Go down here and turn the eyes off. I realized doing it this way, I could just look at my monitor. I kind of don't like doing that, though. There was something that I realized that I want to try, and I don't know if it would work on my... How was your day? My day was good. Thank you for asking. No, it was pretty good. I mostly just worked. I had a last minute deadline that my work wanted me to get done, so I did that today, and now we're drawing. And then here in like 30 minutes, we'll be ending stream and then raiding into our Dungeon Master Havoc to play some Dragonlance. Was your day good, Pocky? Did you have a good day? I know you had a busy day, but was it a good day? Hi, Moira. My cat has come to say hello. Yeah, I'm glad. Have you eaten today, Pocky? Hope you had something good to eat today. Let's see. Can I do a fill tool? Is there a fill tool in this? Wonder. Pages. It would be in preferences. Gesture controls. Smudge, eyedropper, quick shape, full screen, hover. How do you do a fill tool? Is there a fill tool in here? Yes, I ate. You asked that already? I did. Wait, well, you didn't tell me what. That's why I don't remember, because you didn't tell me what you ate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, though, but you didn't tell me what. Bucket fill. Top right tier artwork. Oh. Yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Not mad about that. Turn all of it on. And then add create clipping mask. Skin color. Okay. You ate a smash? Oh fuck. That sounds great. Ooh, I'd fuck with a smash burger right now. I had some apple cider earlier. It's pretty good. Let me know all the sounds of closure. Friend owns a your friend owns a smash burger shop? What the fuck? That's so cool. My friends own being ooped. That's so cool. They got any chains in America? If they have any chains in America, I'll glad to visit. I probably didn't. Yeah, I didn't color this in all the way. Damn, that's a good ass fill. No, here just in Vienna. Okay, well, I hope they become rich and famous so that way I can have some of their food too. So it's kind of rude that I can't have some of your food. So they should become rich and popular and then have a chain in America. That's what me think. Let me know. Oh, that's so cool. I like how this works. Oh, I forgot a section. Are there no smash burger shops in there? There are. That's why, you know, I really could fuck with one. But I feel like they don't got that soul in them. Or at least I haven't had one here that had that good soul in it, you know? And I feel like if you know the owner, it's gonna be some fucking really good burgers. This one. Nope, not that one. Still wrong. There you go. Or where you live. I live in Oregon. I live in America in the Oregon. Now I can lock it again. Let's do eyeballs. Like, we got a Shake Shack that I think does smash burgers, but I don't know. I feel like it's not the same. It's like a locally owned place, you know? There you go. Let's do white. Let's do the white. I can edit that color palette because I don't exactly. There's like too many colors in my opinion. Let me see. Can I change that color palette? Palettes. How do you edit palettes? Hi, Rainer. Hello. How to edit palette in. To edit a palette, open the color panel, tap palettes, and select your palette. You can range according to colors. Delete swatches by holding and tapping delete. Oh. Hi, Sawala. Hi, welcome on in. I don't know which colors I don't need. I might need black. I might need that one. How's it going? Hope everyone's having good at New Orleans? No, Oregon. I think that's the other side of the country. Cancel. Wait, how do I delete it? Press and hold, drag to a new position to the list. What? Heads up. How do I delete it? The palette didn't be found on any point in a new tab. How do I delete it? To delete a color from the palette, press and hold and then tap delete. Leave an empty space. What? Yes, there you go, Pocky. Correct. Okay, wait. Then I have any emotes that have a simpler color. I want all my colors though. That's why I'm having a conundrum. Hold on. Delete. Moku's is my favorite. Has Moku finished my other things? If not, then I'm just gonna make a color palette myself. I don't think so. Okay. Download, delete. Oh, not that one, not that one, not that one. I don't have this picture in here anywhere. I don't. Okay. You live in the mountains? Near the mountains, very close to the mountains. I lived close to the mountains my entire life. In Colorado, we're never far from mountains. And then in Oregon, you're also never far from mountains. Why can't I save this? Hello? iPad? My iPad is not cooperating with me. Still loading or something? You're almost Canadian, to be honest. Yeah, almost. Pretty damn close. Why can't I have this image? Dude, this is gonna drive me nuts. There you go. No, it's not. Okay, there It only exists about 170 years, bruv. Yeah, well, baby. Well, baby, what do you want? Where is this image? Need to put this in the Procreate. What? There we go. There we go. And I'm just gonna color pick. There we go. Soccer. I know American isn't talking about country ages. My hometown soccer club is older than the state you live in. And Doja, why did you end up taking that? It's so fucking heat. It is. It really is. Bro, my shit's gonna piss me off. Smudge. Eyedropper. Can we do that? You can fuck off. I don't fuck with you. Oh. Okay. Wait, what? Smudge. Please. Lena's not good with the iPad yet. She's still learning. And then my eyes. Actually, a photo. This one. This one's more easier to pick from, in my opinion. The only thing American about Pocky is their home shares a name with the sausage. That's a good one. So it's a lighter one. This is the darker one. Oh please, oh please. Oh please. Cut me slack. I'm not being mean to you. It's why is you saying soccer? I think, you know what? Maybe Pocky's just jealous because you're so cool. Please. Oh, please, for the love of God. Lane's about to have a bitch fit, bro. This one's. White highlight. Dark hair. Dark highlight. And then my blue. And dark blue. And the gold. Light gold. Wait, what? Bless you. I know it's football. I just didn't want to cause confusion or something. Oh, no, wow. Okay. No, that's even better, actually. That's a really good reason because you were just trying to be considerate. You know that in Europe, it's obviously called football. But here in America, it's called if you know, you're just trying to be so considerate. Honestly. Honestly. Yeah. Yeah. So, wait, now I'm confused on what colors I'm using. Okay. The color of my sweater, I think I want to change that, but this is like an accent black, which I don't know where to put. I'll put that there for now. Okay, and then black clothing items. Or I guess brown. Brown. This one. Oops. Oh, fuck. No, please. And a lighter one. Yeah, if I say football, maybe somebody's going to think American football. Yeah, exactly. That's what I see. You're just obviously you're just trying to be considerate of my poor little American brain, you know? Obviously, I mean that's what I'm getting. Stop with your heart and head up. Better than this. Black. Why did it give me white? Unexpected smile. Intentions. Okay. The day you should have died. Blue. Actually, I'll take it for my skirt. Actually, no, this is... I'll take it for my skirt. Half dead, half the time. Definitely eat there for a second. That's okay. Did you sleep good? I don't mind if you guys sleep while I'm streaming. That just means I'm comforting. Or that's at least how I take it. Half dead, half the time. Treat you like machines do. God and love is keeping alive. Okay, now I have to reorganize it. So I think I do it by hair, face, eyes. You're definitely not boring for nah, just comforting. I take it as like I'm comforting. Wait, where did this color come from? Nope, stop it. That's the base color of my hair. Okay. And then, is this one the highlight? It is. It's the highlight, and then this one I think is the shadow. It is. This is the shadow of my hair. And then I'll do eyes, which this is, let's see, shadow. This one. This is the middle one. And then skin tone, and then blush. And then, what is this guy? Oh, this is like my accessory, so I'll just put this down here. I'll move this over. Actually, I need to split these two. This is the blue, this is blue, this is gold, this is the black. This is my shirt, and this is the brown of my shirt. Of the straps, actually. So let's do... this one. This one. What colors am I missing? Is Elaine missing any colors? I don't think I am. Gold is pretty good. I guess I could do the Band-Aid color. Let's read this one. Oh, my lip color. Then let me see. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, that's fine. It's like... okay, so that means it needs a highlight color. Man, if there's one thing I love about modern One Piece, it's Agenda Piece. Agenda Piece might be the funniest thing to come out of manga in decades. What's Agenda Piece mean? I think this will go here. I'm not squeezing. I'm not squeezing. And this one. And then... dude, if you haven't seen Agenda Piece, you're not living. I think I'm living La Vida Loca. I think I'm living pretty La Vida Loca. I want this base color to be a little bit darker. What hair color do I usually have? 2D. Agenda Piece is basically backing their favorite characters as the best character by spreading slanderous information about other guys. That just sounds like Usopp. That just sounds like Usopp. If I'm honest, that just sounds like Usopp in a nutshell. Yeah, I want that color, which is... highlight, shadows and multiply, that would be outline. And then, yeah, I just need that color, which... I kind of like these colors. I was gonna share my chonk model with myself, actually. Let's do all. Let's do this. And then chonk model. And how, like how we use hockey because of... and how Shanks doesn't know how to use... not to... what? I think I'm afraid to know more because I'm afraid they are spoilers. So I'm just gonna be like, damn, dude, Usopp in a nutshell. That's what I'll say. Save. I don't have my tongue color. It's also important. Yeah. Don't worry about it. You can get pretty. Oh, where? Yeah, I can get pretty. Okay, I appreciate you, but yeah, I mean, it sounds fun. It sounds fun. Maybe I'll watch it after I watch One Piece. Saved. Okay. What the fuck? What? Where did it? Where did it go? Let me look at the cat. I'll let you look at the cat in 1 second. Okay, hold on. Hold on, wait. Background? Oh, my background? Hold on. How do I add another page? Okay, hold on, there you go. The One Piece watch parties have already gotten to hockey? No, we have not. This is my baby. You my cat. I took another picture of her the other day, actually. Here, let me... Did I post that in here? I did not. Hold on. I have another picture for Pocky. Open link. This is another picture of my cat. This was on Saturday. I crocheted a little rose. Don't steal my baby! She's my baby. I crocheted a little rose and I put it on her head. I have any more pictures? I have more pictures of her. Let me see. Which ones has I? Is that any more pixels? You see some of the pixels. This one's a pretty good one. My baby. I know y'all were somewhere between the Giants and Alabasta. Last I saw you got... Yeah, we just finished Chopper. For like a year, bro. Listen. You could be optimistic. And then this is the zoomed out version of... Yeah, she has a little spotted nose. She has unsymmetrical noses. And she has like an unsymmetrical tuxedo pattern. Let me show you what she looked like when she was a baby. This is what she looked like when she was a baby. Those are her the Humane Society pictures. I was like, I have to have her. Now she's my baby. This one's my favorite picture of her. Good little baby. This is also one of my favorites. She's eating. She's my little baby. She my little baby. What the fuck? I don't know what that's for. That's her being a goober. She needs to be kissed right now. Okay, hold on. I'll kiss her. Hold on. She's in my office right now. I can do that. That's actually perfect timing. Why is she looking like that? I don't know. She's a bit of a goober. She's cute and she's also a goober. Like this one, she's cute. She's so cute. And then in this one, she's a bit of a goober. Like, look at that. Look at that stance. She's looking at me like it's my fault or something. Yeah. Yeah, it's your fault that she hasn't met you yet. Oh, she's a seeping. This is my baby on my desk. She's a little gal. I love her so much. She's my favoriteest little baby. Why is she sitting like that? She was grooming herself. She was in the middle of grooming herself, and then I took a picture of her, and I was like, I mean, she's my babes. Do I have any other pictures of her? I like talking about my cat. If we were on my phone, I could show you more pictures of her. I have so many pictures of my cat. Oh. This is her when she sleeps in her window bed. She's cute. I steal her. Don't steal her. She's my baby. Oh, this is like one of the cutest things. When she's like knocked the fuck out and she's really cozy, she'll curl her toes. It's really cute. It's really cute. I like it when she curls her toes. Thank you. I'm showing cat. Cat. Oh, what's this? Makes me think of gumbo. Hello, Fruit Bat. Welcome on in. You're catching us at the end of our stream. Can I cut them up beneath it? No, you cannot. What the fuck? That's my kid. That's my child. That's my darling daughter, dude. Do I have any more? Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can find one more of her. And then I gotta go play D&D. And I gotta go play D&D. One more picture? Come on. I gotta have one more picture of her. You're a kid? You have a hairy baby? I do. I do. I have an ultrasound picture with her in my belly and everything. She's my baby. Oh, here's one. Here's a really good one. Here you go. There you go. Wind out on stream with this one. It's my baby. Thank you for the headpants. Don't bonk me. Wait, why was I bonked? With my baby. She's the best little. She's a little goober. But I love her a lot. And she's about to take a fat ass nap because I cranked up her heated blanket. Oh, baby, yeah. I love her eyes. Her eyes are like one of my most favorite things. But yeah, she's a cute little bean. Cool little bean. I love her more. No, you fucking don't. No, you don't. I love her enough that if she were to tear out my entire closet and I have to pay $500 to take her to the vet, I would. And that's a steep price, let me tell you what. Yeah, I do too. No, you do not. You do not. And with that, read Havoc _RPG. It sounds like it's already happened for a little bit. Hey, Buster. Hello. You caught us at the end of our stream. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I have to go and play D&D, but I love you guys very much. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Love you.